Good morning, everyone. It's actually not morning, it's like the afternoon. But it feels like the morning. I need to close this window. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Paige, and obviously I am the page turner. So I just got back from eating scones and drinking tea with some friends, and if that's not the most British thing I do while I'm here in London, I really don't know what is, but I've never had scones before, and I've never had clotted cream before, but both are delicious, and now I'm just so full and want to take a nap because it's rainy here, which of course it is, but oh man, it was so much fun. So actually, before we went to go have scones and tea, we went to the London Christmas Book Fair this morning, which was really cool. This was down in Bloomsbury in London, which is right near the area that I stayed when I visited London last year. It was really cool. It was more for like antique collectors, I think, because there was a lot of like first edition Harry Potters and George Orwells and stuff like that were super expensive and not anything that we could afford, but it was cool to just go down there and kind of take a look through all the stalls and everything, and so we had a good time. Got like a bookmark and stuff too from other shops that were there, and then this whole thing has like a list of like all the London bookshops that were there and like where they are normally located, so I'm always trying to find new like charity and like bookshops while I'm here in London, so this is like kind of nice guide to have going forward of like places that I can check out. Anyway, all of that being said, this is going to be my November wrap up and December TBR. I know we finally made it to December. It's the end of the year and I'm so excited because I have a lot of really cool things coming up in December. I also read a shit ton of books, so let's get to that. So I read 12 books this month, which is really amazing considering I was working on my finals and I got a job finally, and I've just been doing a bunch of other things outside of school and work and hanging out and exploring London, and I've been so busy, but I've been reading a lot of really good things. I can't believe how much good stuff I read this month, and I'm very excited to tell you about it, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so the very first book that I finished this month, I didn't start it in November, I started it in September, but whatever. First book that I finished was Bridge of Clay by Markus Zusak. Oh man, Markus Zusak did it again and totally destroyed me, and oh god, I loved this so much, so much. This is probably honestly one of the best books that I've read this year, if not the best, because as everyone knows, I love Markus Zusak, I love his writing, I just love the way that he makes me feel like through his writing, and oh man, I just really enjoyed this. I can't remember if I met him in September or November, but I finally got to meet him. I've mentioned a couple times to people in the past, I have a bunch of stuff signed by him that my mom and my sister got signed for me when I was in my undergrad in Colorado, and he came to LA, and I wasn't there obviously since I was in school and blah blah blah, and the same thing happened this year. My mom and sister are in LA, obviously, while I'm here in London, and he came to LA for part of his book tour, but then he also came to the UK and to London. Finally got to meet him, and I got a bunch of stuff signed, and it was just so amazing to finally meet him and talk to him. And he was super nice, and I loved hearing him talk about Bridge of Clay, and he's such a good speaker, and he's really funny, and it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I can't even believe I'm here right now because it was so surreal. I don't know, I feel like I like his work even more now because I finally got to meet him and like really like hear about his thought process for writing and everything like that. So it was just like honestly one of the best moments of this year. And I'm really glad I got to be a part of it. And it was, God, it was just so amazing. I could go on and on about meeting Markus Zusak, but it was amazing and incredible. And I loved Bridge of Clay, definitely 5 out of 5 stars. One of my all-time favorites. I can't wait to like read this again because it was just so amazing and it made me cry, and my mom's reading it right now and she's really liking it, and it's really sad, and we're just like in a total wreck. But yeah, okay, enough about Bridge of Clay, but it was amazing. You should totally read it. Oh, wonderful. The next book that I read this month was When Dimple Met Rishi. I have had this on my bookshelf for a while now. I have an arc of it back home, but obviously I couldn't bring a lot of stuff with me to London, so I listened to the audiobook version of it and I flew through it. I loved it. I thought it was really funny. I really enjoyed the writing style and the way that the narrators interacted with each other. It was just so much fun to listen to and to read, honestly. Right after listening to that one, I obviously then picked up From Twinkle with Love because I was like, I'm obsessed with her writing. I need to hear more of it. So I also really enjoyed that one. Not as much as When Dimple Met Rishi, but it was still really good. I really liked that one as well. And again, the narrators did a fantastic job. I kind of talked about this book in my last wrap up and TBR, I think I mentioned that I was reading it currently, but this was Catholicism an Introduction. As I've mentioned in my last like 2 or 3 videos, I've been going to Catholic Mass a lot lately, which is really awesome and awe-inspiring, and I love going to cathedrals in London, and I think I'm gonna write something about that for my dissertation project next semester. I've been really enjoying going to church and Mass and just seeing how everything goes, so obviously I want to learn more about like the history of Catholicism and stuff, and this book I thought was really comprehensive in doing that. They talk a lot about like popes and why Catholicism is where it's at today, which I really needed because it's kind of overwhelming to just go into Catholicism without really knowing much. This was perfect for me, and it was really easy to read. Wasn't that long either. I really enjoyed it. As I mentioned in my last video as well, I've been really obsessed with audiobooks lately, so the next audiobook that I listened to was Victoria. This is the book that's inspired by the TV show, which I love, and my mom also loves, and I also told her to listen to this, and I think she is going to after Bridge of Clay. I really enjoyed this. It follows the show almost exactly the same. I really enjoyed the reader. She's actually one of the actresses in the show, so that was kind of cool. But the book and the show follow each other so closely that I can totally see how this was like easily made into a script. I love learning about Queen Victoria, so definitely excited to read more stuff about her. So the next book I listened to was Emergency Contact. Again, another book that I've had on my shelf at home for a really long time. I loved this. This, again, I think is going to be one of my favorite books of the year. It was so funny, and it was like really also heartbreaking to read, but oh god, I haven't laughed that much while reading a book in a really long time, and it felt so real, and oh, I love the cover too. I think it's gorgeous. I definitely want Mary H.K. Choi to write more books because I hope they're all as equally funny as this one was. Totally fantastic read. After that, I wanted to take a break from audiobooks because I think I realized I was burning myself out from them, so I read Love, Hate, and Other Filters. I went through this super quickly. It was much shorter than I originally thought because, again, I have an arc of it at home, but I got it from the library here in London. Fantastic. I really liked it. I know that Samir Ahmed is coming out with another book this year, next year, because 2019, and everyone's really excited for that, so I hope that's just as good as this one was. This one I felt did fall short in a couple places, but otherwise just was a fantastic book. So one of my friends in my grad program, Marta, actually, if you're watching, hi Marta, she had asked me if I had read this book, There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce, and I had heard of it because actually Julia, who's probably not watching this, but hi Julia, she was someone that I worked with in the writing center during my undergrad. She was a PhD student, and she mentioned it to me because she knew I was working on a feminist thesis for my undergrad. She was saying that I should read it, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. I never did, and then Marta told me to read it, or she had asked me if I had ever read it, and I said no, so I was like, maybe I'll just pick it up. I didn't know what to expect. I actually didn't even realize it was poetry. I didn't read the synopsis or anything going into it, but I think because it was poetry, that's why I didn't like it as much. As most people know, I'm not like a huge fan of poetry. It's just not my thing, and I did enjoy this on like some level because I thought it was interesting, but because it's poetry, I think I lost something in it for me because the whole time I was reading it, I was thinking, ugh, this is poetry. I don't really like poetry. I don't know, it just wasn't for me, I think. This next book is also something I've had on my shelf at home, again, for a really long time. Obviously, that's been a theme lately while I've been in London because I'm just trying to read through my entire bookshelf at home, but I've been listening to a lot of the books here because it's easier for me to listen to them here, like when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm on the tube, etc., etc. So this one was My Lady Jane. I did a review of this one, and I said a lot more there than I will here, but I just didn't really like it that much. And I'll leave a link down below for you to check out, but it wasn't, I don't know, I just expected it to be better, and it wasn't. Yeah, just check out my review if you want to hear all my thoughts. Okay, so this next book is actually becoming a Netflix movie, which I didn't even know until I saw it on Instagram for the trailer. It's Dumplin', and I was like, well, I might as well pick up the audiobook before, you know, the movie comes out, which I still don't even know when the movie comes out. I listened to the audiobook and I really enjoyed it. I met Julie Murphy 3 years ago, I think. Even, like, obviously back then I hadn't read her book or anything, and I didn't really know a lot about it, just that it was, like, really popular and everyone wanted an arc of it. Finally, now, of course, I'm picking it up because I'm late with everything. And I really want to read Puddin', which I got an arc of at Y'all West last year. I think, again, I enjoyed listening to it more than I would have reading it because the narrator did like the southern accents, which probably I just butchered and is so ugly. This one I gave 5 out of 5 stars too. This is the last book that I had to do for required reading. It's Missy, again, another play that I had to read. I really fell in love with reading plays this year. I think that has a lot to do with just how fantastic and awesome my professor was for my playwriting class. And I also had to write a play this year, which I found to be really really easy, but I mean, I guess I don't know really how well I did until I get my marks back on that. I mean, I hope I did okay. Again, one of the better plays that we read this year, I didn't completely love it just because it was kind of meta, and I'm not really into that unless it's concerning like Fight Club 2, which is really awesome. This wasn't totally for me, but again, I think I just really enjoy reading plays and flying through them, so that's why I kind of ranked it a little bit higher than just based on plot alone. This was something really cool, and I want to read more of these plays that are by this publishing company. This is Nick Hearn Books. They seem to always put out really interesting and modern plays. I think that's just kind of their thing. That's what they do. And we went to a used bookstore today, actually, and I was finding a bunch on the shelf that I was like, oh man, I want to read that one and that one and that one, but they're kind of expensive, so I didn't want to buy any. This was just okay. I think the other thing too is like my professor didn't have us read like just Shakespeare or something. We didn't read any Shakespeare. We only read plays that were super modern and produced and written in the last year. I don't know, I've never done that before and I fell in love with it. Professor, if you're watching, which you're probably not, really enjoyed playwriting, and please give me a good mark on my play. I did some shopping on Black Friday, and I actually didn't buy that many books. There's one that I'll mention that I want to get to in my TBR for December. I did some shopping, and if you do the slower shipping with Amazon, they will give you a $1 credit for digital items, so that's like Kindle books, music, movies, etc. I had 2 of those coupons, so I had essentially $2 worth, and I bought this novella that I've been craving reading another Nora Roberts book. I usually do this like once a year where I'll just like read a bunch of her stuff. And I wanted to go back to her McGregor series because I actually had to read a couple of those in my freshman year of undergrad for a class, which was still like the best class I've ever taken. Thank you, Dr. T. Oh my God, that was so awesome. So I didn't realize that this one was actually a novella and it was fairly short, so I just breezed through it. And that's In From the Cold. This is McGregor 0.2, so I guess it comes between 1 and 2. I don't know. That's what it says on Goodreads. But I really liked it. It was set during the American Revolution, and it's like this Irish girl and this Scottish guy in America, and I don't know, they fall in love, you know, and there's drama, and it was just fantastic. I loved it. I love Nora Roberts, and I really wanted to read something by her because, I don't know, it just makes me feel homey. And I really like her Wedding Quartet series too, which I actually read in high school. I always want to get back to reading that. I have them all at home, but maybe I'll bring them to London with me in the springtime. We'll see. Really enjoyed this, and if you're a Nora Roberts fan, just pick it up. It's like 100 pages or something. Okay, so that's everything I read in November, and December is here. It's December 1st, obviously. And I have a couple things that I want to read, but not too many because I have so many exciting things going on in December. Number 1, my boyfriend's coming to visit, which, hi Michael, and I'll see you in 10 days. Oh, I'm so excited. Number 2, my sister's gonna come visit in December as well, so I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to read because I'm gonna be showing them around in the city. There are a couple books that I really want to get to. So one other book that I almost finished in November was the book of Genesis, actually. I read Leviticus in September, which I really liked. I've always really struggled with Genesis because I had to overanalyze it for this literature religion class that I took in my undergrad. I've been reading a lot of Genesis and trying to read more of the Bible in general, and then I just go through and like highlight certain colors mean certain things. So like green, orange, yellow all mean something different. There's blue as well. I've been reading through it. I'm almost finished. I'm like more than halfway done. I was going to think about reading Exodus in December. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna have time, and I really want to read The Story of Christmas because I love The Story of Christmas. I don't know why. Just even growing up, I really liked it. We would go to the Crystal Cathedral in not LA, and my parents are gonna kill me if I say that because I have no sense of direction. It's not LA. I don't know where it is, but we used to go for Girl Scouts, watch The Story of Christmas, and they would bring in like the live animals and like the camels and everything. And yeah, it was just amazing. I loved it. I'm not sure exactly where The Story of Christmas is, like where it comes in the Bible. I haven't really gotten to the Jesus stuff yet, so I'll have to look it up and maybe ask my boyfriend too, because he knows more than me about, obviously, this tomb. I've been working on it. I really enjoy reading the Bible, actually. I thought it would be kind of dull and boring, but as my dad once told me, it's all stories, and I love reading stories, so why would I not like this? I'm also currently reading Shadow Scent. This is by P.M. Freestone. Scholastic UK was so kind to send me an ARC of this. This comes out in February. This book smells really good too, which is actually kind of ironic. But I've never gotten a UK ARC before. They're much different than the ones in the US, but this one's so shiny too, so shiny. Ooh, Look at it shine. I'm more than halfway done with this. I'm really enjoying this. I was flying through it in November, but then I had to take a break from it because, I don't know, I think I like was ignoring my homework or something, but I'm planning on finishing it in December and then I'll post a review of it once it's done. Along with the book, they also sent me this perfume. So it's from Tuesdays in London. It says, be careful what you wish for, perfume. It has this little card from the perfume company and it like basically says where they're located and everything. The perfume itself is like, it's a lot of perfume actually, and I sprayed it when I first got it and it's a little like musky, which is kind of how I imagine a lot of the stuff going on in Shadow Scent, because this whole book is like, smell is like a huge thing. This was super cool. Another like little gift to add with the arc that I wasn't expecting. I'm also currently reading Slouching Towards Bethlehem. This is by Joan Didion. As most people know, Joan Didion is one of my favorite authors ever. Like, she ranks just below, I think, Marcus Zuzak. She's the writer that I want to be, and as my boyfriend said, he's like, well, you'll be better, and you know, no, but thanks. Really enjoying Slouching Towards Bethlehem. This is kind of like the White Album. It's just a selection of her old news articles that she's written. This is stuff that all takes place in like the late 60s. I'm really enjoying this. Last one that I think I want to try to get to this month is Reflection, A Twisted Tale. This is one of those Disney Twisted Tale books. I haven't read any of the other ones of this before. This was on sale on Amazon, so I picked it up. It looks like something I'll fly through really quickly. Maybe. I don't know. Things are gonna be really busy in December. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I know that was really long-winded and I've been babbling and I'm very full still from all of those scones and tea, and I think I'm gonna go take a nap or something. Let me know what you guys are reading in December. If you have anything exciting upcoming in December, let me know as well, because I love hearing about exciting plans. If you guys are doing anything for the holidays or for the new year. Either way, have a great month, everyone. Also, you can find me in all the links down below, my Instagram, my Tumblr, my Twitter. If you want to get in contact with me about anything, just use those links. I love talking to you guys. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye! Oh, fuck. Is that recording? Yes, it is. I also had the amazing opportunity to finally meet him. Yeah, was it November? Shoot, there are so many trains going by. Boom, there he goes. I guess we'll just wait. Blah, 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 blah. Oh shoot, I forgot to talk about the Bible, the Holy Bible. Oh, scones. Anyway.